Stockwell, episode number 5. Welcome back, Carrie, my dear friend, mentor, fellow psychic medium, coach, and owner of Pure Lotus Wellness Retreat, among many other things. How are you, Carrie?
Hello, I am good. How are you
You're
doing?
on camera. I'm supposed to
I am
cue you.
on camera.
I was supposed to wave, but I thought that would be incredibly awkward. So instead, I'll just sit here and talk about it for 10 minutes. You're on camera. You're looking lovely as usual.
Thank you very much. So are you.
Oh, thanks. That's because we just spent about 20 minutes making sure all was well. So Happy New Year. Thank you for coming back. First episode of the new year here at This Witch is Viral with you. So tell me what you've been up to.
Well, Happy New Year to you as well. I don't know, lots of things. Business is shifting. Business is going in new directions. Other than
I thought you were going to say business is shit. Sorry.
No.
No, it's not.
I can humbly say that it's not. You know, it's definitely shifting. All the changes that I've been making. I'm seeing, a whole bunch of different traffic coming in for different appointments. But no, it's good. I have no complaints.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. So today, typically what happens with my episodes is I will offer to kind of sit down with my guest and go over a little bit of what we're going to talk about, just to make sure that they're comfortable, that I'm comfortable, that I'm not touching on things that they don't want to talk about. Although sometimes that is fun and awkward as fuck. But today, Carrie didn't want to know what we were going to talk about. So
no, I didn't want to know. She was, you were, talking about you in the third person. I just don't, I find that I think about it too much, and I'd rather it just be a natural conversation. So you can pick any topic that you want today, and I will follow along and chat about it. So
I was thinking religion, politics, or finances.
Okay, so we're all going to get canceled.
Yeah, pretty much. No, so going along with that theme, and given that it's 2024, it's a brand new year, everybody is very goal orientated and hoping, to have a big, beautiful year. I'm assuming people go into that kind of new year with that sort of mentality. I'm not one personally for resolutions. I believe in goal setting all year long because it's so much more than that. But that being said, I kind of wanted to talk about how to get your goals done. And part of that is getting out of your damn comfort zone. And this is something that I have, certainly for myself, I will tell you a little personal story here. It took me a long time to start my podcast. Jules and I started Broadcast to Podcast in 2020. And it was a big deal for us. Like, it was a big, big deal because the podcast to us and to myself, obviously Jules is not, she's still in my life and around, and she'll be back on again. But just speaking for myself, this is my voice. And this is the first time in my life where I've really felt like I've been able to come out and utilize my voice and feel seen and heard in so many ways. So it's been an absolutely phenomenal thing for me. And looking back now, I can't imagine not doing it. But getting to this spot here, out of my comfort zone to achieve what I think is something truly amazing in my life, that was tough. So I want to talk to you because you've achieved many things over your career. I would love to talk to you more about how to do that, how to get out of your comfort zone, how to get out of your head, get into your heart. I don't know about you, but during a lot of readings lately, I've really noticed people struggling with this. And, I have friends and I know they watch this podcast, so they probably know who I'm talking will know who I'm talking about. But they're like fellow witchy friends who I've recently seen. And you know exactly who you are. Anyways, and they're like, we're not ready. We're not ready. I'm like, yeah, you are. Just how do you get ready? How do you get ready?
How do you get ready? Well, I think you have a very good point with you have to get past your comfort zone, right? So a lot of the times when we don't feel ready, it's a fear-based thing. It's a self-confidence thing. When in reality, you just need to put at least one step forward, right? I and you have to put the work in. You have to be willing to put the effort and work in. So, we're both spiritual people. I very much believe in manifestation. I like to manifest the shit out of stuff. But
Yeah.
I also know that there is that, there's the energetic spiritual thing, and you can bring in your crystals and your grids and you can do your affirmations and all that kind of stuff. But you also got to get your ass going, right? This shit's not going to be served on a silver platter in front of you. And if it does, that's amazing, right? There are going to be those circumstances. But you got to put the work in, you got to put the effort, you got to put the hours. You're going to be tired, so you have to make sure that you have balance and so on and so forth. But it's really about pushing yourself past that fear-based mentality and knowing that you do have the ability to do amazing things and the things that you want to do. And also, you may have to make sure that you are following your intuition, your heart, and that it is a heart-based thing, right? You have to question, why is it that I want to do whatever this is that I want to do? Is it because it's an expectation of me from somebody else? Is
Mhm.
it something that, you know, I wanted to do 10 years ago, so therefore I feel like it's still on my to-do list. But in reality, in the back, I was like, I don't know if it's really for me anymore. So I think there's a whole bunch of different um, attributes and levels that come up for, getting to the point where getting what we want. So I don't even know if I answered the question properly, but that's.
No, you did. You did. You certainly did. I think I'm just thinking back for myself to as to how I kind of stumbled upon like really truly getting out there, and even with my psychic mediumship um stuff, like I really needed the support of, well, and you were obviously one of my and still are one of my mentors in that space, as well as like Matthew Stapley and Candace.
Yeah.
And there's a few others as well. But I really really counted on that kind of support. And I think part of getting out of your comfort zone is also finding those like-minded people
Yeah.
that can be there to, applaud you, clap for you, cheer for you when you are taking those steps, because not everybody wants you to succeed. So I know for myself, some of my friends that I let go as I started my spiritual journey, they never wanted me to do anything beautiful with my life. So I went, fucking see ya. And
Well, I
yeah.
think it's different for like, spiritual businesses. And this is actually what I talk about with clients and stuff like that. So with spiritual businesses, it's different. So if I had just relied on, immediate family members, and I love them all, for me to come along and being like, I'm going to make a career out of readings and Reiki, they're like, okay. You know what I'm saying? But I have that mentality that I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And I'm going to keep working at it until I'm successful. Yeah, it took me 10, 11 years to get to this point. And there was some shitty times, and there was times where you're questioning yourself, and there's times where, things get slow, and, wondering if you should do this anymore. But it does make sense to have the people around you who are going to support you on those things. Because once again, if I had relied on the people immediately around me, like, I
Mhm.
don't think I feel like, as I say this is going to be like an ego thing, so I apologize, but I don't think any of the people who were with me at the very, very, very beginning, knowing that this just started off with Reiki and readings, would think that it would get to the point that it has gotten to,
Yeah.
right? So, and I'm very proud of myself for that. And I can say that. So the first time in my entire life, I can say that I'm proud of myself, which is, awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but
I'm
like, I
glad you.
have you guys. Yeah, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
and you too. Like, and
Oh,
it's,
thank you.
I remember when we were doing the one
Uh,
event here, and it was the first time that you were doing readings, you know.
I can tell this story. You go ahead, and then I'll tell
Oh,
the
no, no.
rest of
Actually, let's hear it from your side, because
it.
I'm a bit of an ass kicker. right?
Yeah, you
So
are.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
you are. But
I've done it to you. I've done it to Catherine. She'll probably watch this. Where I'm like,
yes.
no, you're ready, and then I just kind of kick you out of the nest. See you later.
Yep, totally. No, you very much are like that. And Catherine owns Universal, however you say that,
Universal
Harmony.
harmony.
I
Yeah,
know it's very creative, very cool. Check her out on
yeah,
Facebook. Trying to get her on for a future podcast episode. Um, so yes, you have certainly kicked my ass multiple times, but in the best way and in a soul-based way and in a way where, yeah, like you said, it's like mother bird going, yeah, you can do this, get the
yeah.
hell out of here, or get going, that kind of thing. So here's what happened when I first started doing readings, because this is also something I get when I have clients. They're like, oh, you're psychic, how did that happen? I'm like, well, first of all, in my opinion, everybody's psychic.
Yeah.
Everybody might not be a medium, but everybody has the ability to connect with their own soul family. As far as I'm concerned, their loved ones, their angels, their spirit guides, those sorts of things. Um, the way I got started, I took courses through Matthew Stapley, and I took like intuitive development courses, psychic courses through him. He's phenomenal. The reason I knew him or found out about him is because of you, Carrie, because I asked you about it because I felt like I was gifted in this way, not to toot my own horn, but I felt like I had some kind of gift, and I could just feel like when you're meant to do something in life, like that feeling doesn't go away. It
No.
just doesn't. It gets louder and louder and louder.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, so I had gone for a reading with you, and then I believe I'd come back a second time or something, and I asked you, and you had said, yeah, definitely Matthew Stapley. So I went there, and then ended up actually coming and doing a first event of readings at an event at Pure Lotus. So I had like 6 readings. I was like ready to poop my pants. I was like totally, you want to talk about stepping out of your comfort zone? I was so scared shitless to do these readings. I literally told Candace, and you were doing the event, and I'm glad you weren't around for any of this because I was like batshit crazy. I was like, okay, like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to sit down with these people. Nothing's going to happen. They're going to hate me, and it's going to be over before it even began. I remember hanging onto my keys and wanting my car parked in a spot in the driveway or in the parking lot where I could easily access it and go home. Okay. And on top of that, Matthew was like on kind of like a standby with Candace in case I freaked right out, then he was going to calm me down. So, okay.
I didn't
So
know any of this.
I know.
I remember setting you up. I remember setting up your station beside Virginia, right? A more, seasoned reader so that you could
Totally.
play off of her confidence.
Yeah.
And my normal thing to say when you're freaking out would be like, "Oh, you'll be fine," and then I walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I
I
had
didn't
to laugh.
realize that you were free. I knew you were freaking out, but I didn't realize that you were like about to run.
Oh, I contained it. I tried as much as, well, I didn't want you to think I was like, are y'all right there?
Yeah, I just heard something. I thought it was my cat, but it's
Oh,
fine.
it might have been, I don't know, my necklace, maybe. But anyways, so right, we're recording. Now we're just having a conversation, which is great. But on top of that, I'm pretty sure Angel too was like hugging me. Like it was a whole to do. I was like literally shitting my pants, and not literally. Sorry, not literally. That's disgusting.
I'm glad I put you up front where I couldn't smell again.
Yeah, and outside. But yeah, so then Virginia of Balaam's daughter, she was just super supportive. I had to laugh though because I could tell I was such a newbie because she just kind of walked in. She didn't really have anything for her table. She's like, "Yep, all right, walk in. I'm gonna do this." And then I walk in, and I still bring stuff because I like my little cutesy stuff, right? I
Yes,
walk in
you
with like
do.
these bags, and I'm like, "This is gonna help me connect to spirit." And I mean, there is a thing behind the whole ritual stuff, but it was
One day
so
I'm just gonna
funny.
come up along behind you while your back is turned and take all that shit and run.
Uh, well, I had my car keys, so I would have ran to be like, "See ya, that's a sign."
I'm gonna
No,
steal your pink crystal ball.
yeah, no, it's so pretty. It's right here.
Yeah, I know.
Aw, that's nice. Anyways, point being is that I always find it interesting that people don't see that part of things, right? Like, you know, and I think it's so important to talk about that because we don't just start out like where we are.
No.
We have to we have to make that leap of faith as well. And in that leap of faith, I mean, that's when like like I've never trusted myself so much, or not trusted myself, but I did ultimately. I'm like, you know what, Nina, you've got this. You can like get your shit together, you're good to go. So in that moment, it's just all about trusting yourself. And that's something that people have a really hard time doing, I find. So it's like that part of the comfort zone is really tough. The confidence, but the confidence comes while you're doing, you don't just like sit around here and all of a sudden you're confident. You're confident because you start doing it. So it's kind of, like you
Well,
just
and
got to
it's,
go for it.
if we're going to use you as an example, like, you finally got confident doing your readings. And then what do I go ahead and do? Is like, okay, now you're going to start doing Reiki sessions.
I don't even know why we hang out. What the hell's wrong with me? Yes. And so
I just keep pushing.
yeah, you do. But you're like, that's good. You know, I guess I can say that now because now everything's going well.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what's next. But anyways, but I'm pushing you two a little bit out of your comfort zone. I think it's okay to say with the podcast episodes.
Yes.
Which is kind of neat because well, you have very exciting news around that, which is
I do. So I am creating a podcast of my own. Obviously,
woohoo!
a bit of a different vibe. Ever since I was younger, I wanted to tell my life story. And my life story tends to be a difficult one, right? It has not been, um, a year that has gone by where there hasn't been something going on, obviously, and we all have
Mm-hmm.
lives. But here, the one thing people really find it surprising that, what I went to school for is actual business. So, it had nothing to do with the spiritual realm or anything like that. I went to school for business. That's what I have my certification in. And I'm actually supposed to be an accountant. So when people are like, well, how did you get into this kind of stuff? And I'm like, well, you have to be ready for the answer, right? So, and I don't think that they understand that a lot of the times that we get into this stuff is because we're trying to find a path for ourselves to heal. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about talking about childhood trauma. So obviously, it's not going to be an easy subject, and it's going to be about the struggle with mental health, complex PTSD, trying to find a healing journey, the complexity of my family. And I've always said that I
Yeah.
swear to God that my life's blueprint this time of year was based on some kind of Young and the Restless episode, because a lot of it's like unbelievable. So it's going to be a really interesting podcast. There's going to be times where it's just me talking, and most likely I'll be off camera. It make me a little bit more comfortable talking about these kind of things, not, face to face.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be more episodes as well where I might bring on somebody else who has had also a very difficult life and talk to them about how their path has come to where they are and how they've dealt with things. So it's not going to be an easy podcast. It's not going to be for everybody. And not everybody wants to hear about my life. And I'm completely okay with that. But ever since I was younger, I actually used to want to write a book about my life. Um, and for me, this is actually a faster and quicker way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, I've always thought if somebody could just hear my story, and they don't feel so alone in theirs, then even if it's just that one person, if somehow it's impacted them in a positive way, then it was worth sharing. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I've always said too that a lot of the trauma things that have happened to me in my life, they wouldn't have happened if people talked about it. Right.
Totally.
So I'm very much an advocate of telling your story. If it makes people uncomfortable, fuck it. Right.
Yeah.
So
Fuck
because,
them. No,
yeah,
sorry.
well, not fuck them, but like
I know.
the
I just
reason,
felt
yeah,
like
the
it was
reason that we
necessary
don't
to say
talk about
that.
some of these traumatic events is because it makes us feel uncomfortable. We don't want to hear about that kind of stuff.
Totally.
well, that's just you pushing shit underneath the rug. And guess what? It's going to happen again.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So this is what it's all about.
So, and is that the kind of stuff you do with, like, well, I do know a little bit about what you do as a trauma informed wellness coach. Is that
Trauma informed coach. Yeah.
okay? Um, so is that the kind of stuff that you delve into then as a trauma informed coach?
Oh yeah, like, along the way, there's definitely been stories that I've heard from people where it's like, you've trumped mine. Like I don't say that to them,
No,
but
no.
like
Yeah.
it's
Can you
but
imagine?
it's definitely not when I have these clients and they really open up about their story, that it is difficult to listen to, but I also love it. I love the fact that I can be there supporting other people, maybe in the ways that I wasn't supported, right?
Right.
And I think maybe that's what gets me into this journey of mine with the coaching. Because and you can talk to my husband. There's times where I come up from either, whether it's an inner child workshop or one of these coaching sessions, and I just need a moment. I just need a moment of silence. Obviously, I don't tell anything about my husband, or to my husband, but I'm just like, it's just a really difficult story that I had to listen to, and I just need to like decompress right now.
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah.
I think that, we can reach out to these, therapists and psychologists and social workers and all of those kind of stuff. And we don't understand that the heaviness that they carry around with them, listening to people's stories and helping and supporting them, right? They go, the amount of psychotherapists that come here for energy work
Oh,
is crazy.
I can't imagine. I
Yeah.
believe it for sure. I mean, even I find with our readings, I find some of those can get heavy because I've read for people where they've lost like several children,
Yeah.
or grandchildren, or just really tragic circumstances. And then I'm connecting with these loved ones, and it's very, I mean, we're there to hold space for these people,
Yeah.
but it's tough. And I've come back to my own house before and, been like, whew, okay, that was pretty heavy today. So that's completely, yeah, understandable. Um, and when does this podcast drop?
I'm going to be doing I'm going to call it a soft launch or a pre-launch on February 9th, as long as I can figure out all of the shit with it, which is
Oh,
where
you
kind of
got me to
you
help
come
you.
in,
I'll help
right?
you. I'll kick
So
your
like that,
ass too. I'll be like Mama Bird. I'll be like, get the fuck out of the
and
nest.
you're going to enjoy it because it's going to feel so good to do it back to me. I get it.
Maybe.
But no, so February 9th is kind of my pre-launch. So I'll be jumping on to talk about what to expect, right? Because of the content, because of the triggering content. I want to make sure that people feel safe while listening to it, for me to explain how things are going to work, and then the actual first chapter, as I'm going to call it, not an episode, but the first chapter is going to be on March 10th.
Amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this will be on Spotify.
Yeah, so we're still trying to figure that stuff
Oh,
out.
okay. We're still, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
No,
so
that's okay. You still
I
have some
have
time.
yeah, I have signed up for a Spotify account, right?
Perfect.
This is on YouTube, so I may be launching on there as well. So there might be a couple of different platforms. I built my website for, I built my web page for it. So any of the links will be added to that. So
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Well, that's exciting. That's
thank
amazing.
you for
Yeah.
mentioning it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff happening this year. This year I feel is going to be a very powerful year. I can already feel it energetically. It feels very fiery.
Well,
So,
I think a lot of people are coming into their own. I feel like even this past, 5, 6 years for people, it's about getting their footing, building their foundation. And I think, we're coming to a point in the world where it's like you have to have that authenticity.
mhm.
You really have to, life is too short, go for what you want and go to what you're being pulled to, right? So.
Well, and that's what I always say to myself too, because, you know, moving along into these different projects and growing as an individual and moving into, like my passion and my purpose and what I feel is really my life's path. Like it's been tough, but at the same time keeps moving. So whether you're doing it now or you're sitting there, like, and listen, we're all at different stages in life. And I totally understand. And this is actually something I offer as an intuitive soul coach, is I help people build their intuition and their confidence and move along and actually learn to trust themselves, which has been amazing. And, and some people go ahead and even open up spiritual based businesses, which is wonderful. But it's like time passes regardless. That's what I always told myself. And that was ultimately one of the biggest kicks in my ass that I gave myself. I'm like, you know what? It's like time goes regardless. And the other thing I thought was, I was so concerned about people judging me. I don't give a shit anymore. You can judge me all you want, because whether you're doing it or you're not doing it, people are still going to judge you.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
like, get that noise out of your head. And that's really what's helped me step into my more authentic self. And I'm still peeling back layers. It's a journey, right? It's a journey.
Well, and you're going, and I think I had this conversation with someone else. Well, actually, maybe it was the other night while we were all together as a group,
Yeah.
It's like you were ever evolving, you were ever changing, you're making the decisions in your life that you feel is best for your business right now. I'm making massive changes to my business.
Yes.
But does that mean that I have to stick with that for the rest of my life? No, because I'm going to be ever evolving. You're going to be ever evolving. And this is just going to have a natural flow to it, because the things that we've learned yesterday are going to impact today. And the same thing happens today for tomorrow, right? So we learn, we keep evolving, we keep growing. It's all about growth. So, just because you have this amazing podcast right now, is it going to continue for the rest of your life? Probably not.
I'll be like 800 years old. No, welcome to the millionth episode of this Witch Spiral. No, I don't know why I turned Scottish when I'm 80, but whatever. Or 800.
So, but I think people need to realize that just because they've made a decision doesn't mean they have to stick with it for the rest of their life. And that's huge, because that can go on all fucking levels of your life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Wait, is that underlying? Is this about, wait, are you, well, you gave the look,
I'm
Carrie.
trying not to make that face. Have I made that face yet?
And you use it. You have a face and okay. Side story. Because we have this witchy group of friends. So we get together about once a month, and it's really cool because we're all witches, basically. And we get to kind of hang out, and, not everyone gets into the stuff that we get into topic wise, and just, we can be ourselves. But anyways, we all somehow it got brought up that you make this face. This is like your mama bird kicking the baby out of the nest face. I swear.
Is that what it is?
It's like, oh yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know how to do it.
Oh yes, you do. You make it all the time. Show the good people. It's like this.
Does my little eyebrow go up?
Yeah, probably. Yes, that too. I feel like that's a different face. And probably one that you give to your husband a lot. You're like, really?
Probably. I do have a very animated, face expressions.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good though. It's all good. So, just to get back on track, the hell are we talking about? Oh yeah.
I don't know. We were talking about growth in life and business.
Oh, I was going to say, I wanted to add to that because another thing that I found I really was wrapped up in when I first wanted to launch this podcast, like relaunch it. Okay, two things. One, I was really wrapped up in the perfectionism around it. And I feel like I really need to check myself on that. And I see that a lot in other people too. Yeah. Nothing's perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. I know people that have launched a business and changed their business name. Like, and this is what you said too, is as you move along that path, things are just going to change and shift. And like you said, your business is completely changing and taking a different trajectory, like completely. So, you know, cut yourself some slack. The other thing I was really nervous about, and just to bring this full circle, I was so nervous. And this wasn't even that long ago, was to ask people to come on my show. I was so like, not, I don't know, not scared per se, but I thought everyone would be like, no, I would never go on there. I fucking hate you. No, I didn't think that, but that would be rude. No, but I literally thought like people would just not want to come on. So I was very excited when I asked you, and I asked you
Well, and I was
first.
honored that you asked me, but then, there's also my self-confidence level where I'm like, why me?
Because you're
You know?
amazing.
No, thank you. So are you.
Well,
I
thank
will
you.
take the compliment.
Yay. That's another thing we need to start doing as a society,
I
is
know.
taking the compliment. So
Yeah. I like to go out into society, not a lot because I'm introvert, so I like to come home too. But when you're out in the grocery store or wherever it may be and you see someone and be like, wow, that's a really nice shirt, or really looks really great on you, or do
yeah,
whatever. And then I like doing that for other people, but then I've had to learn that fine, I'll accept the compliment.
totally. I know. I totally understand that. Yeah. It's funny though, sometimes when you compliment people in public, they kind of look at you for a second. I'm like, no, I'm not selling anything. I don't want anything. You just look really pretty. Well, I wouldn't say probably that, but I'd say like, you have a really nice jacket. And I think that's also society too, a little bit, where we're so used to going right into the negative brain or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
the hell. So yeah. Anyways, any other words of wisdom while we wrap up this episode number 5?
I don't think so.
We
I
did
came
not
on
bad
here.
considering all I
I
had
came
on.
on here not even knowing what was going to be happening. What are you
Well,
doing?
neither
What are
did
you looking
I. I
at?
did it on purpose. I did that on purpose. Also, I'm lazy. No, but I did that on purpose. So I put 5 there, which I had to ask Carrie what episode it was before we started, because I've done so many. Anyways, and then it's a blank page, and we just filled
Right.
it.
Yeah. I prefer not to know. I don't feel
Yeah,
like
exactly.
overthinking anything before one of these things happens.
Exactly.
And I think
Exactly.
that's the way my podcast is going to happen. Like right now, I'm sure you have a very professional setup. I have my phone and it's sitting on my cat tree. So,
Well, yeah, okay. I guess I've got a little more. I have light
and
here.
if they don't believe me, there's a little floofy thing,
Oh, I know. I like the floofy. It's so
right?
cute.
'Cause looks like I have a hat on.
Yes, it does. Or great bangs.
Yeah.
That would be a weird style. That would be a weird style for sure. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today on episode 5 of This Witch is Viral. You can find This Witch is Viral on YouTube, on Spotify in the near future. You can also find me on Instagram at that This Witch is Viral. I also have an Instagram for my readings, which is Nina DeBoss, or hashtag the Nina DeBoss. Do you want to tell me about your socials there, Carrie?
Sure. So I do have my new website, which is carrie-leigh.ca. That's where you'll find the links to the podcast. There's also the Pure Lotus. So that's pure-lotus.ca. And then there's Facebook, Pure Lotus Wellness Retreat Kemptville. And then there's also Instagram. And on Instagram, I'm Carrie-Leigh Authentic.
Woohoo! Yeah,
Woohoo!
you are.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got for today, unless you why do you keep laughing at me? Because
It
I'm
just
ridiculous.
our two different energy levels. I'm like,
I
yeah, okay,
know.
whatever.
I had some, no, it's only tea. I was going to say something else, but I had tea. It woke me up. Remember how I told Carrie before we started recording, I was like, I'm so tired. We'll see how this goes. Woo! So, cheers to that. Like my mug, it says wild and free on it. Holy crap. My mug is drunk. There we go.
With
Wild
your
and free.
little lipstick.
Yes, of course. Come on. When am I ever without pink or red lipstick?
That's true.
There we
When
go.
am I ever without my eyeliner?
That's true. Or that look on your face. No, I'm kidding. You just gave it again. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for checking us out. What's holy shit?
Just go bye-bye.
All right. Record time.
Okay.
Okay, bye, everybody. Thanks for checking us out. Please come back. Bye. Stop.